fix this. I'm going to move these down. Still should work. And then this podium was never like, it should be like this. But, no, I'm on it. Can I borrow that Kleenex box? We'll see if we can do this. We'll get it set up right. I meant to mention this. There we go. Now it's a little like, it's like we're a choir here, but okay, that's okay. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put this back here. All right. Okay, good morning. We're here for our briefing, 11:30 briefing on Corona and other items that are happening at the city. And we'll touch on a couple of things today. The primary topic we're going to focus on is youth engagement in youth summer programs. This has been something that we've long articulated as critical for a number of reasons in our city, empowering youth and also helping our education system with respect to this summer gap and making sure that, folks to have something important and meaningful to do during the summer, especially if their parents have to work. So this is also specifically extremely helpful for single parents and folks maybe with two parents working also at different hours and so forth throughout the day where they can't be there, work and be there for their kids. So this is a huge effort on the city's part. It's something we have doubled down on since our administration came in, and we're able to do this still in the time of Corona. It's a little different, and it certainly is more challenging, but we're one of the few cities who is stepping up to still provide this. And so we're going to talk through how it's going to work. So I'll begin with some updates from the Joint Information Center about Corona. So firstly, Casa de Salud's Corona-19 drive-through and walk-up testing event will be open on Wednesday morning from 8 to 9 at 1608 Isleta Boulevard on the corner of Isleta and Arnall. This is part of everyone's effort to provide testing at different parts of our city, especially in areas that don't have as many hospitals and so forth nearby. So this one's for the South Valley. Pre-registration is appreciated, but not required, and we will have bilingual staff on site. You can call 907-8311 for details on that. Now, the State Health Department has announced today that New Mexico households receiving SNAP benefits will again receive the maximum amount for their household size for the month of June. In March, April, and May, SNAP households were not already receiving the maximum SNAP benefit for their household size received an increase to their benefits to bring them to the maximum amount, and so June, that'll be continued as well. Also, the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions, which of course handles our unemployment, they're warning about unemployment insurance claimants to beware of scammers. There are a lot that are going out there, and the best thing to do is to make sure and use their official website to file your claim. So again, that's the Workforce Solutions Department. The state also has announced additional resources for New Mexico families interested in summer youth programming. So we'll talk about ours, but want to mention at the state level, through a collaboration between Department of Cultural Affairs, Public Education, Early Childhood, and CYFD, all of those departments together, the state has assembled a comprehensive array of programs to support families. And you can find all of that at the state level through those agencies, online, printed resources, et cetera. Now, the city is also providing, separate item, the city is providing mobile food pantries open to all, that are going to be open all summer, and they're happening at our 10 ABC community school sites. So again, these are mobile food pantries at 10 APS schools around the city, and these make an additional 1,400 boxes of food from Roadrunner Food Bank that are available for students and families. So again, we're continuing that program, and it's going to start this week. Each box provides approximately a week's worth of perishable and non-perishable items for a family of 4. So this is a very important part of our safety net that we're trying to continue during these tough times. And that historically has helped us feed over 5,600 residents. Now, before I introduce one of our speakers, I want to talk a little bit more about summer programs. And I want to remind folks that in early May, we saw a lot of cities all around the country in New Mexico canceling summer programs. And they were doing this either because it's extremely complicated and hard to do, given all the public health regulations, or they were doing this because of lack of funding. Fortunately, we believe we have enough funding, and we believe we have a management team that is able to pull this off and adhere to the public health order. And so, once again, I think a good example of Albuquerque carving its own path, saying what is right for our city, and then trying to step up and deliver what we can for the city of Albuquerque. Now, we know these programs are critical child care for working people. And we know that in general, these programs are used anywhere between 10,000 all the way up in aggregate to about 40,000 students each summer. So there's a lot at play. We can't offer all of them, but we believe we can help at least 10,000 families right now with some child care. So thinking through that a little bit is that, we know that even with respect to investing in the growth of our families, and investing in our neighborhoods that have historically been underserved, that is where most of these programs occur, and that's where we've really focused on trying to keep them open. We know that there are also important proactive approaches to preventing crime and making our communities healthier, and also safer. This is why in our first budget we asked Council for an additional $1 million for youth programs. We did that again last year, and we will do it again this year. It's a continued winner, I think, for everyone who's been a part of these programs. And as you ask around our city, too, it's amazing how many people were a part of them in one way or another, even myself one summer, way back when. So these programs, too, reminder that with school out, the city is the one who usually does the summer meal program and the summer program. So just as a reminder, obviously, the state funds APS, and APS does their thing during the year. We help after school and before school at the city, and then we help over the summer. But over the summer is a very heavy lift, and so we're trying to do that even in the time of Corona. Now, a few other things I want to mention. Each year we do produce a report on this, the summer report that folks can find on our website at CABQ, that talks about how many students are involved, highlights also the diversity and income aspects that these programs try and target as well. Now, we're also talking about hiring youth. So these programs, a lot of them are youth-led. So we hire around 1,000 teenagers. Some of them are graduates of high school, some aren't, some are still in high school, to run a lot of these programs. And so this has been something that is a long tradition in our city, and again, we want to very much do that again this summer despite Corona. And we're also layering into it part of our the RAD program, which of course is headed by Tanya Covington. And what we're doing is we're trying to hire some youth folks to do outreach to youth with respect to violence intervention and alternative diversion programs when it comes to teen violence. And so we're going to start that hiring. This will be the first time our city's done that. We're going to start hiring that in the next few weeks as well. Now, these programs serve a very diverse population, and there's something that really is aimed at our mission of equity in our city. In the demographics for 2019, just to share, we had 3,000 free summer bus passes. They were spread in every quadrant of the city, and the majority of them were used by individuals of color. And we also know that last year we were able to hire 1,278 youth workers, 76% of color. And that'll probably be the similar statistics this year. Now, we're going to start this program basically today. So summer food programs, 50 sites all around the city. Kids age 1 through 18 can get meals there. They're also available at 22 community center sites, and then some other ones, including our playground rec sites. We also have summer programs, our Open Space Explorer, Open Space Summer Camps, our swim lessons, racket sports, library summer reading programs, museum school, Explora, Mayor's Youth Creative Corps, Camp Biopark, Balloon Museum, and Biopark Agriculture Camps, Camp Biopark. All of these are starting registration if it hasn't happened already and so forth. You can find out a lot more on our website. And to talk more about this, the Director of Family and Community Services for the city, Carol Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. We're very excited today because, as the Mayor's mentioned, we've kicked off our summer program, At our community centers today, 775 youth were registered, and parents were dropping their children off this morning. We have a new registration process. They were right outside to just really maintain the social distance requirements. And what we also know with our public health order, the ratio is 1 adult per 5 children, and those adults are sometimes young adults, as the mayor mentioned. Those summer youth that were hired, they've been doing training over the last 2 weeks, so they were all ready for today and really looking forward to having those youth arrive. All youth are required to wear masks, and the city's providing those if needed. And so we also have 5 sites at our APS, in partnership with APS, for our playground recreation program, and we appreciate working with youth there. So it's really important that when our youth come, and we're so glad that we're providing those services for single parents, this is free programming that our city provides to our community so parents can work, and really so youth can have the opportunity to interact with each other and to have a free breakfast and lunch there. We still have slots available, and you can sign up at play.cabq.gov, and there you can look directly at your community center site to see if there are slots available. Now, we're really excited because our cultural services camps are coming up here at the museum, and they'll be beginning this week, and they'll be serving 45 youth. Also really important, the summer reading program, which we're very excited about. About 1,200 youth have already signed up for that program, and if you are interested, you can go to abqlibrary.org/summer reading. But that's not all. Our swim lessons that so many parents and youth look forward to will be beginning starting June 15th, as well as some of the racket sports. Tennis will also begin about June 22nd, and that's an important one as well. Our Explorer camps that the mayor mentioned are starting everything from birds of prey, where youth can learn about that, and other open space programs. So to learn more about that, you can go to play.cabq.gov or also call 311. Thank you.
Okay, let me also mention, let's see, a couple of other things now that we've touched on this topic. Want to remind folks that the city of Albuquerque is the largest provider of childcare in the state of New Mexico. So this is just a reality that our city steps up to do each year, and we're always up for that challenge. But it's also a reminder of how, in many ways, we're in this with the whole state. There are folks who use these programs, whether it's through grandparents and so forth, from all around central New Mexico. Now, also, too, I want to mention we did have, I want to reflect a little bit on this weekend and what's been happening, of course, all around the country. I think we've shared a lot of material with respect to past briefings that we've had, and also this weekend was fortunate enough to be able to attend a couple of events and share thoughts on the desperate need for change in our country, and and the need for justice with respect to what's happening with these murders at the hands of law enforcement agencies in other cities. And we also know that Albuquerque is not immune to that. So this weekend we had lots of loud protests that were vocal and powerful, and that's a good thing. And also everyone was safe, and that's a good thing as well. And so I think in Albuquerque we really demonstrated that we've got to carve our own path. We're in this nationally, and we also have to look at ourselves locally, and we have to do those somehow at the same time. And I think our city did a great job of doing that over the weekend, and so we appreciate everyone for their peaceful but powerful messages, and we'll continue to work on that. And of course we'll have much more on a number of these topics throughout the week. So I think with that, we did want to focus on kids today. It's very important for the families out there, these programs, and so we are available for questions.
I have questions, but not about this. So if anyone has questions about this.
Go ahead, we're waiting for some.
Okay. So Tommy, you all announced today about the police reform, the 2020, that would mandate police agencies local to wear cameras, ban choke holds, and create a national police misconduct registry. What are your thoughts in this bill, and how will this affect Albuquerque Police Department?
The question is about, just because this is federal, forgive me on the official language, but this federal proposal with respect to police reform. And I think for us, it's something in general we're very supportive of. In Albuquerque, actually, we have a lot of those things in place already. And so it's because of CASA. It's not that we came to it easy. Court had to essentially come in and tell us that we need to do those, but our administration has been leaning into those reforms. So I think we welcome those reforms and the senator's efforts. And specifically, for example, with body cameras, I mean, we continue to upgrade those cameras so that they are easily shareable with the public at an appropriate time, and so that they work, and all of these sort of excuses that happened in the past. We've invested a lot of funds in making those systems actually work, so to try and sort of honor them in reality, not just on paper. And the other thing I would mention is that, as a reminder, law enforcement in New Mexico, right, involves a lot of different agencies. And so I can certainly speak with respect to APD in that, but we know there are agencies who don't wear them. We know that there's different rules, whether it's county or state or federal jurisdiction. And so I do think federal law would help make all of that uniform.
And then, so, in respect, does Albuquerque have a ban on, chokeholds for the police departments?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. And as a reminder, Friday we went in depth in the 8 can't wait measures, where we have 6 out of those 8 measures already in place. And we actually are reviewing the other ones, again, through the public process, through the consent agreement with the courts and the advocacy groups involved in that. But yeah, we don't allow chokeholds.
We have one question here from Chris McKee at KRQE regarding the city's fiscal year 2020 budget expiring in just a few weeks. What is the status of the fiscal year 2021 budget, and is the plan to continue operating with last year's budget?
Yeah, so the question is about the budget. And I want to remind folks that each cities have been affected differently with respect to Corona. Here in Albuquerque, most of our revenue comes from sales tax. I mean, we call it GRT, but the challenge is we're way low. And so we have this chunk of money to get us through from the federal government, but there are lots of unknowns. So the way we're handling it is we're going to be able to close out the books, and so we'll be working with council on how to do that in June. At the end of June, and so we don't expect any challenges with that, and there's really no changes other than just using the CARE money. With respect to next year's budget, we're probably going to have to go in sort of a rolling budget for a while, whether it's month to month or whether it's quarterly. And I believe the current plan, although it's really council is kind of the decider on this, but we're talking about picking that up in August. And then we'll have more visibility on what revenues will look like. And so the plan is to really push that discussion till August. And in the meantime, just have a month-to-month budget, which is what we've been doing in the past. There's so much uncertainty with revenue. There's also no other real way to do that because everything is going to change by the time we get to August anyway.
I think that's it.
Excuse me. Little allergies this morning. Okay, other questions?
I do have just one question. So how do you feel that the police department is kind of handling this situation, kind of, with the reform and kind of how do they handle it?
Mm-hmm. Question is kind of about our reform efforts and how our department's been handling it. And look, it is a very, very tough road. And how they are handling it, at least under my administration, is they are walking down that road. And we have done whatever we can to correct mistakes when we find them. We know we make mistakes. We try and correct them. And I think the fortunate thing is there in our town, there's lots of transparency and accountability. It might take 3 months for the DOJ's report in the Independent Monitor, but it comes and we hold them accountable. And therefore, I think, again, we have seen at least walking down the path to change in a meaningful way, but it's a long, long road. And so we have to keep at it. All right, folks. Well, and let me just add to that, too, that by far and away, the vast majority of folks in our department have walked with us on that reform, and I think that is a good thing. Yeah. All right, thanks so much. We will talk to you soon, probably tomorrow. Thank you. All right, we'll try and fix